Hey, what's going on? And welcome to a special Strange Talk with Doc. This is going to be the last one for about 2 weeks. But there's some things I wanted to talk to you about before I actually took a break. Every once in a while, you got to take a break. I don't get paid to do this. I do this because I like to do it. It's enjoyable. It's fun. It's not actually always fun because of some of the topic and subject matters that I have to talk about are dead serious issues. But I want to talk to you about something that's very important. Don't lie to yourself. Do not lie to yourself because you will start to believe the lies that you tell yourself. If you are saying that you are trying to do anything, you are bold-faced lying to yourself and you're going to start believing it. And what's going to happen is tomorrow you're going to be trying, the next day you're going to be trying, 2 years down the line you're going to be trying, because trying is not starting. There's a difference between trying to make something happen and putting a plan together and start doing that thing. To literally start doing it. See, now you're living in truth. You are moving towards a goal. You have actually set a plan up. That plan can fail multiple times. You can retweak it. It is not a big deal. But you are doing. I hate when somebody tells me they're trying. The trying just means I'm putting it off. I'm putting it off to another more convenient time. And here's the thing, there is no such thing as a perfect time to get a plan off the ground. You want to get a plan off the ground? Do it today. Make preparations to do it today. Trying don't even mean that you got shit together. You just, like I said, once again, you're fooling yourself. And I really want you to think about that. Procrastinating is a horrible thing to do. You're walking around like life is guaranteed you some amount of time. Life is not going to guarantee you any longevity. So you got to break your habitual laziness. Settle matters quickly. Be motivated. Be diligent. No matter what you're working on. I don't care if it's school, work, relationships, spirituality, or goals, because in the long run you're going to reap what you sow. If you sow nothing, you will reap nothing. I'm going to use an old term that I hate, but it's YOLO. You only live one time, people. You only live once. So make it a lifetime of doing, not trying. Failing is fine, but you know what? People who are failing are actually trying to accomplish something. So at least if they fail, it does not matter. They can start over. They could see what they did wrong. But people who are trying, they already are total failures because nothing is happening. And it's ridiculous to be living a life where absolutely positively nothing is happening. You are wasting precious energy. You're wasting precious breath. You were wasting. God gave you this opportunity to be here on this earth, accomplish something with it. Even if you fail a million times, it does not matter. Don't let anybody convince you that being a failure is what it's about. Because some of the most successful people on earth have failed multiple times. You wouldn't have the telephone or the light or a car if those people didn't fail trying to create those things over and over and over again. And then eventually they got it right. Shots that you take are failed medicines over and over and over again. So we had a guy in Bed-Stuy on Gates Avenue. Supposedly, I'm going to say supposedly to retrieve some keys. I know it was 4 a.m. and nobody wants to sleep out in the street, but you have to make preparations that you have a card in your pocket, some good credit. So the worst comes could hold to get the building. Now I haven't figured out yet if I know this gentleman because he's around my age peer, and this is a neighborhood that I am well versed in. Most people in that neighborhood either knows me or know my brother. I mean, I've been for a long time in Bed-Stuy, and Gates Avenue was only 3 blocks away from where I lived. I used to hang out on Gates Avenue, the very next block up. So, I'm sure that his family is grieving. I'm not here to make fun of him, but sometimes we gotta let shit pass, man. Sometimes we gotta weigh out and balance out a scale. And if the scale does not balance out where it makes sense, where it leans so much to one side to the other, then you might have to go on the side that is the heaviest. And that side should involve some common sense. And this was a total waste. I mean, I don't know how they're going to bury this man, what they're going to say. I mean, he might have been a lovely dude. I don't know. But for him to give his life up over something that he could have totally avoided. I mean, but you know what? Maybe our time is our time. See, I don't know. I'm not going to get that deep into it that we're supposed to go the day we're supposed to go and we don't pick the way, but it happens either way. But I think that's bullshit in this case. I think that he could have had a little bit more longevity. So dickhead Donald Trump, Mar-a-Lago's home in Florida, was served by the actors, and he blames the Democrats for Mar-a-Lago. Now, Margo's not on by one Congress and on property. This was FBI. Donald Trump's lawyer actually signed a statement a month ago saying that something had been returned. Then, when the FBI goes to Mar-a-Lago, they find 11 boxes of classified documents in the raid. This man should be forced to sign a legal document that he can't run even for dog catcher in the United States of America. We cannot have Donald Trump anywhere near an elected office. I don't give a damn, like I said, if it was dog catcher, because he is actually a threat to national security, and the powers that be have to deal with him in a manner that he is some form of a danger if ever placed in a position of power again. And not just that, he riles up his crazies, because this Ricky Shuffler, 42-year-old dude, he tries to storm the FBI Cincinnati field office on Thursday. They had to shoot and kill him after a standoff, but he riles up people like this. I don't understand why Ricky Shuffler would call Donald Trump his hero. He would literally say that Donald Trump is my hero and that I'm willing to take up arms for him because I feel he was done wrong. And it's not just that. You had people standing out in front of Mar-a-Lago protesting for days. Do they realize that Donald Trump has been on the losing side? And I believe that he actually lost the 2016 election, but because of improprieties in Russia and things of that nature, that was basically a rigged election. Dumbass Hillary Clinton bowed down to him. She should have fought him the way that he fought Joe Biden when he became president, minus the storming of the Capitol Hill. That nobody should ever do anything like that. So Salman Rushdie, who's a 75-year-old author, is glad to hear that he's no longer on a ventilator. Supposedly he's now speaking. He wrote the book Satanic Verses, and he did that back in 1989. And the Iran's Ayatollah Khomeini had actually put a fatwa on him. A fatwa is kind of simple. It's a legal opinion or decree handed down by an Islamic religious leader. And I guess in his case, because of the things that were said in Satanic Verses, which I have never read, it does not interest me. I do not really care much about the Muslim religion. It's not for me. Nobody's going to dictate what my wife should wear. Nobody's going to dictate the food that I should eat. So I believe in my religious freedoms that there's too much restrictions in this religion for me to follow, to adhere to. You're not going to tell me how many times to pray per day, things of that nature. So because of those things, I stay away from all Islamic things. It is not my field of expertise. I have nothing against it. If you can hold to the commandments, rights, rules, and it makes you a better person, I am not against you being a Muslim. But as for Doc, it's not something I can handle. So he was attacked. He was stabbed up by this Hadi Matar, a 24-year-old gentleman now who's going to have to sit back and think about what he has done, because this is attempt murder. He's probably going to do massive amount of times. There was more than enough witnesses, so we know that he will be convicted because he did this in front of multiple people. Yet and still, he sits in front of a jury. I mean, he sits in front of a judge, and he's so high and mighty that he can't own what he does. This lying coward piece of shit says not guilty, when he should have said, you know what? You know damn well I did this. Yes, I own this. This is me. This is something I did. I take full responsibility for my actions, and I will be blessed for it. But no, people are fake, people are phony, and they rather still lie when they claim to be doing things for righteous reasons. Like I said, this was a decree handed down by Islamic religious leader. At the time, it was the Ayatollah Khomeini back in Iran. But you know what? Who even knew this fatwa was still active? I thought it was something that come and gone. I'm actually waiting for somebody to call in. I don't know if they actually are going to. That's why I started the show. If they do, they'll interrupt and say hello or whatever, and we'll jump into the topic that they want to discuss. So the NBA and the NBPA, Players Association, announced they will permanently retire number 6 in honor of Bill Russell. The Major League Baseball has retired number 42 in honor of Jackie Robinson. So no player after Mario Rivera could ever wear number 42 in Major League Baseball again. Now, you know what? Bill Russell was getting up there in age. The NBA should have given him this honor so that he could smell the roses while he was alive. This should have been something that they should have said, Bill, you know what? Or at least told Bill. And hopefully they told Bill that upon your passing, we are going to honor you by never letting anybody wear your number again. It wasn't like Bill was murdered or Bill was killed by anybody. Bill died because Bill was an older gentleman. And I appreciate the fact that they do this, but we have to learn, if we want to honor people, it's all right to honor people while they're alive. It's all right to honor people while they're breathing. Now, this goes for you, and this goes for me, too. If you appreciate somebody, if you love somebody, don't wait while you holding on to a mahogany box or some kind of metal case that contains their ashes. Let them know while they're alive and breathing. It's fine. It's not going to take anything away from you. It's not going to make you less of a man. You could be still the most macho man in the world. If you love somebody, tell somebody. It's fine. It is no skin off your ass to do such a thing. But you know what? They don't hear you so well when they're dead. Pirates infielder Rodolfo Castro, this fucking guy, man. His phone falls out of his pocket while he's sliding into third base. Now, I understand he's not a gazillionaire yet, but this dude is being paid on a 1-year, $700,000 guaranteed contract. He can't focus on his job enough to actually say, let me be about business when it's business. And when you in the middle of a game, your phone stays in your locker room, you don't retrieve it till the game is over, and that's even after the manager has spoken to the team and basically said, I'll see you guys tomorrow. I mean, $700,000, not enough money for one season to make Rodolfo say, you know what, let me focus on just baseball. I mean, he comes up with bullshit excuses about, why do I have to be separated from my phone? He's acting like a child. I mean, there's a technical term for people separated from electronics, and I can't recall it at this moment, but you can look it up yourself. There's a technical term, and obviously he suffers from this. So when he's sitting in the dugout, what was he doing? He was playing fucking games, going on Twitter, reacting to Instagram. I don't understand it. I mean, I think there's a time for business and there's a time for pleasure. And when you're getting paid to do your job, and that includes you when you go to work, there's a time to give Caesar what is due to him. They're paying you to be there. Work while you're there. Play on your time. Give the best. See, you're calling an account for yourself, and that account for yourself is, what do I do while I'm in this doors 8 hours a day? Do I give them the best of me? Do I give them a half-ass job? And then when you bitch and moan about them reciprocating with pay bonuses and raises, you have really no grounds to stand up because you're not giving the best of yourself to them. Oklahoma University assistant coach Cale Gundy had to resign. He said a shameful and hurtful word in a meeting. Now, he claims, like everybody claims, one, he's not racist, but he's stupid. And the reason I'm going to call a man stupid is I don't care what was on somebody's laptop. I don't care what was written on somebody's notepad. When you are a white man in America, you know the N-word should not be uttered in private or in public, especially when you have a room full of young black men. What do you think, you're going to have them all laugh it off and nobody's going to repeat what you said after this meeting is done? This man has supposedly been a coach in college for decades, and he had to know better. It's never cute coming out of a white man's mouth. It's only taken with anger, bitterness, and rage by black people. A black man is not going to go to a meeting full of Jewish people and use the K word. A black man is not going to go to a room full of Latinos and use the S word. A black man is not allowed to go to a room full of LBGTQ and use the F word. So the N word is banned. We know that there are a slew of words. We free to say whatever you want. You are free to say whatever you want. Nobody can take that right away from you. The right of free speech exists in America, but there are words that come with consequences. If you're willing to pay the consequences for what comes out of your mouth, then so be it. But if you're not, then you have to own what you do and own what you say. We have to stop lying to ourselves and start living in the truth. Living in the truth will set you free. A lie will always keep you in bondage. If you lie to yourself, you will be bonded to that lie. The truth will open and make those chains fall off of you. So this week, Detroit Lions Hardknocks started. It was very good season, very good beginning. I don't know if the Detroit Lions, and they played the preseason game, they actually won, I believe, on a field goal. I don't know if they're going to be able to rah-rah Siskumba through a whole NFL season. I think talent is going to either shine or it's going to cause you to fall apart. There's no way that they could just burn themselves out and play full steam 17 games. They're going to be ebbs and flows. That's just the way sports goes. You're going to have ebbs, you're going to have flows, you're going to have moments of ups and downs. And you can't just rely on, let's get them, come on, let's go. Because you don't think the other team is saying the same thing. They don't have leadership over there that's also trying to pump them up. Well, I'm getting close to this point where I don't believe this call is coming, because 9:16 is come and gone, and it was supposed to be called in between 9 and 9:15, but that's neither here nor there. So Cameron Smith, who's the British Open champion, he's supposedly, see, here's the thing that's getting me with this, so I'm kind of confused. He supposedly signed a $100 million deal to join Live Golf, but he is in the FedEx St. Jude's Championship, what is being played today. It's been started Thursday. It ends today, Sunday. He is one of the leaders, which would be a huge embarrassment if Cameron Smith is on the Live Tour, wins the St. Jude Championship, which would put him as the number one golfer in the world, and then Liv would be able to pick him up right after this. PGA made a mistake with this. If they even thought that there was a rumor that Cameron Smith signed this Live deal, they should not have allowed them to play, because next week we're going to have the BMW Championship, and that's going to go from 8:18 to 8:21. And then the last tournament of the year, which will be 8:25 to 8:28, is the Tour Championship. last year I made a boatload of money on the tour championship. I betted that while I was in Vegas, and it was a nail biter. Patrick Cantley won. He went up against Bryson DeChambeau, and it was like a playoff that took like 5 or 6 holes. And I had Chantley to win, and thankfully Chantley pulled it out. And that was a highlight of one of the highlights of my trip to Vegas last year. And I'm hoping for more of the same this year. So the UFC had fight night last week. You had Marlon Vera take on Dominic Cruz. Aspen Ladd took on Sarah McMahon. Viviana Alijo took on Alexa Grasso. I know Ariana Lipsky fought on this card. I did not see this card as of yet. I am saving it for today. I'm going to watch that. I'm going to watch the Vikings play the Raiders, and I'm also going to watch the closeout of this FedEx St. Jude Championship. So I have a sports day ahead of me today, and I'm going to enjoy that. Next weekend, you have Usman versus Edwards, Leon Edwards 2. Kamal Usman is the champion. He's fighting Leon Edwards. He beat Edwards the first time. Edwards is on a serious win streak. We're going to see how that goes. Jose Aldo is on that card fighting Merab Darivushi. Paulo Costa, who I haven't seen in God knows how long, and Luke Rocco is also on that card. Now, I don't know what Luke Rocco has left in the tank, because ever since he had been linked up with that singer chick, Demi Lovato, he has never been the same. I mean, he's been nowhere near the same. But we'll see what Paulo Costa has, and we'll see what Luke Rocco has. And then after that, on 9/3, we got UFC Fight Night. Cyril Gaines is fighting Taya Vesa. Robert Whitaker is fighting Marlon Vettori. Joaquin Barkley's on that card. That should be a very good card. Now I'm going to say some RIPs, and I'm going to get you out of here. Olivia Newton-John passed away this week. She was known for the song Physical. She was known for the movie Grease. She was 73 years old. I believe that she suffered from breast cancer for like almost 2 or 3 decades. I mean, that must have been hellified for her and her family. But Olivia Newton-John was pretty huge. If you don't know, now you know. She was pretty huge between the 70s and early 80s in America. She's an Aussie, but she was huge. That Grease movie, means a lot to white Americans. Not so much to black Americans, but to white Americans, that's like a huge deal. And we had David Mclaughlin. He's a Pulitzer Prize winning author. And I mean, he's a historian. He wrote books on subjects ranging from the Brooklyn Bridge to President Adams and President Truman. He's one of the most popular and influential historians of this time. The world always needs great historians. He was 89. About it. See, because you're not supposed to change history. You're just supposed to document it. And he was a well-respected historian. Anne Heche died this week, too. She was 53 years old. I wish Anne Heche didn't go out the way she did. I wish that her death didn't also cause such harm to people who are living, because I believe that her car ran into a woman's house, caused a fire, caused her to lose her property. This woman had nothing to do with what was going on with Anne. And it's sad. Like I said, 53 years old. Ben Stern died at the age of 99. Ben Stern is Howard Stern's father. Howard Stern, I considered for many years to be the funniest man who ever lived, at least the funniest man I had ever heard in my life. I listened to him daily. There was a time you could listen to Howard 5 days a week, and I go that far back with him. The tapes that, shut up, sit down. I told you not to be stupid, you moron. Ben Stern, I wish him nothing but peace in the afterlife. He lived a long time, 99 years. I mean, most people do not get to keep their parents as Howard did for 68 years. I mean, his parents were married 79 years. That is phenomenal. We're talking phenomenal numbers. And so, you know what? I hope the Stern family makes it through this well. And if they look at and say back an appreciation for the time that they had with them. I mean, I didn't get to keep my parents to past the age of 24, and that was both of them. To have one 68 years, and I'm nowhere near 68 years old, would have been more than I could even dream about. I wasn't allowed to even dream about those type of things. And we also lost Gene LaBelle. Gene LaBelle died at the age of 89. He is a legendary wrestler, jiu-jitsu, judo man. He in the fighting world, Gene LaBelle is like an OG, and he died, like I said, at the age of 89. Then we had Denise Dial. She's known for her roles in Beverly Hills 90210 and a TV show called Insecure. She has died at the age of 64. I wish all these people rest in peace. But Anne Heche, I'll say it again. The fact that she also caused harm to other human beings who had nothing to do with her situation, as tragic as it may be, is not a good thing. I almost take back for myself by saying rest in peace, but I don't wish nobody harm in this life or the other life. I am still trying to debate, do I put her in my who gives a fuck that she's dead category, because you don't have the right to harm another person just because you're self-harming. It's not right. It's not right at all. Now, I was going to talk about the Los Angeles Lakers, but since I didn't get the call in, I don't really give a rat's ass about what's going on with LeBron, AD, or Russell Westbrook. I don't care if that building burns down. I am not a Lakers fan. I've never been a Lakers fan. I'm a San Antonio Spurs fan. And if you know the San Antonio Spurs and Los Angeles Lakers, there's a lot of history between the two. So like I said, once again, I don't give a rat's ass. Now, what I will say is the Brooklyn Nets interest me. What's going on with Joe Tsai, Sean Marks, Steve Nash, Kyrie Irving, and Kevin Durant is insanity. Kevin Durant with a trade ultimatum, then an ultimatum that you must get rid of Sean Marks and you must get rid of the head coach, Steve Nash. I don't want to play with Kyrie. I don't understand what is going on with Kevin Durant. I think that Kevin Durant conducts himself in a very childish-like manner at times. I mean, this is a guy who should have just shut the fuck up and stayed in Golden State. Nobody was pushing him out of Golden State. He was well loved in Golden State. He was an MVP in the finals in Golden State. He was a two-time champion. By now, he could have 3, maybe 4 championships if he would have just stayed. The dominance that Golden State would have still had on the league would have been profound. Even with Klay Thompson going down for the amount of time that Klay Thompson went down, I think that they could have plugged in anybody else with those 3, him, Draymond, and Steph, and they would have been quite fine. They would not have really missed a beat, but he needed to go somewhere to prove that he was the man, and he picked to go with Kyrie. It's not his fault a pandemic happened, and Kyrie refused to take inoculations, so he couldn't play for most of the year last year. But the year before that, they floundered. He got knocked out in the first round of the playoffs. If he wants to be traded, then be traded. But you don't have to burn the bridge. You don't have to nuke the town before you go. People in Brooklyn were looking forward to maybe seeing a championship parade come down Atlantic Avenue. Now you don't know what this team's going to be. You don't know how they're going to conduct, because as soon as Kevin Durant pulls himself together, Kyrie Irving will go off the deep end, because that's what it seems like. It's just drama over there, and it makes no sense, and it makes 0 sense. And once again, it makes no sense what is going on with Kyrie and Kevin Durant. Make a stand, live in the truth, stop telling lies. Say what it is, mean what you say, and move on, Kevin Durant. Either move on, shut the fuck up, or play. I mean, you signed an extension last year, astronomical figure extension that most people can't even dream of making that kind of money in a 4-year span ever in their lifetime. I mean, they could live 10 lifetimes and won't make the money that you're making. And it's not about just the money. If you're unhappy, I'm with you, bro. Leave. If you're unhappy, step off. That is fine. But the fact that you are not willing to go quietly, I mean, sometimes we have to have some dignity. Sometimes we have to have some pride in the things that we do and the things that we say, and say, you know what, man, I need to separate myself. Just because you divorce a woman, do you have to drag her name in the street? So, you know what? There's a reason there's upstairs, upper management, mid management, and owners, and then there's employees. Kevin DeGrant forgot that he is actually an employee of the Brooklyn Nets. He does not run the show. We cannot have the athletes picking who and where they want to be all the time, because then it takes a lot out of it as the fan base, how we enjoy the sport that we're watching. Well, I'll see you guys in September. Once again, I appreciate you listening in. You didn't have to do so, but you did. And I do appreciate it each and every time that you take any time with me, Doc, and you listen to Strange Talk with Doc. You support me in any way, shape, or form by giving me numbers, by reaching out to me, saying some things. And you know what? I'm going to tell you until I see you the next time. Peace to you and peace to you.